Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. Your host Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie every week, similar to a book club, and discuss it. On today's show, we'll be covering the animated fantasy epic Princess Mononoke. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 1997, Princess Mononoke was directed by Hayao Miyazaki and stars Billy Crudup, Claire Danes, and Minnie Driver. On a journey to find the cure for a Tatarigami's curse, Ashitaka finds himself in the middle of a war between the forest gods and Tatara, a mining colony. In this quest, he also meets San, the Mononoke Hime. It is currently number 81 on IMDb's Top 250 and has a 4.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd and is ranked number 65 on its Top 250. Before we dive into our thoughts, though, for this film, we do want to issue a spoiler warning. We are going to be discussing plot points, twists, revelations, and whatever else happens in the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you watch it. You can pause the show. We won't be offended. Go watch it, come back, and then join in on the discussion. Stay tuned till the end of the show, though, to find out what movie we'll be watching next week. All right, so Kevin, Princess Mononoke this week. This is a little bit of a special pick because I believe this is the first movie on Movie Club that I haven't seen going into the show.
And it is the first movie that I have seen, and then you haven't seen it. So, pretty special moment right here.
The roles have been reversed in a cruel twist of fate. So, I mean, obviously, as I said, I had not seen this movie before. Fun fact, though, I actually bought this movie, and I have it on Blu-ray, but I hadn't actually seen it until yesterday or Sunday, actually, 2 days ago. I just owned it because I knew I was going to love it. I love pretty much everything that Ghibli has done, so I knew I was going to want to have it. But what's your history with Princess Mononoke?
I've only watched it once, and then I rewatched it pretty much. But I just skipped through a lot of it because I rewatched it maybe 4 months ago, so it's still kind of new in my head. But I mean, just it's a Ghibli studio movie, which is they're always fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much they've only, as far as I know, have only had one real miss lately, which was I believe the something witch in the earwig or something like that. But yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that Studio Ghibli makes, even without Hayao Miyazaki at the helm, is really well received. And I mean, Hayao Miyazaki is a name that transcends animation. He is just legitimately one of the most influential filmmakers to come out of any country except for the US ever, I think. Honestly, I think it's the name probably next to Akira Kurosawa, the other Japanese filmmaker from the 50s and on, that is like at the top of that list. I mean, probably the only animator that Disney reveres really highly too.
His work is just so exquisite, and everybody, even though like most of his movies are like PG and stuff like that, they don't go past like a PG-13 rating or anything like that, so a lot of people think they're for kids. I don't know, a lot of them have adult situations but in a kid form pretty much, but so it always makes you think about it, like you could show this to a kid and then show them again in like 18 years and it has a different effect on them.
Sure, I think you can definitely, I mean, I don't know what age I would start showing this movie to people at, just because of all the Miyazaki movies, this is more violent, I would say, than the others. It's definitely got more dismemberment, it's got more blood, it's got more violence going on. So I don't know how young I would recommend this movie, but it's definitely one of those ones where like younger audiences could watch it and they'll enjoy it for the fighting and for the characters, but adults will get even more out of it because they understand the message that the story is going for, and can really appreciate the beauty of what's being done. And I think that is what's really key about this one for its audiences.
Yeah, I mean, you always take away something when watching a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah, pretty much it sums up every Ghibli movie. Yeah, like, again, any audience can watch it. Adults will usually get more out of it, emotionally and thematically.
Mhm.
which actually kind of leads me into my one, I don't want to say complaint about the movie, but the one thing that does, you know, ride on my conscience a little bit. And that is, a lot of people really go back and forth on Princess Mononoke or Spirited Away being Miyazaki's best film.
Mhm.
And I am in the camp, after watching both movies, that I think Spirited Away is the better film. I think Spirited Away is nearly perfect as you can be. This one, though, for me, I think it's gorgeous. It's got a great story. It's got great characters, but I think it's lacking the personal, emotional connection that Spirited Away had.
So, like, give an example, like how the daughter in Spirited Away doesn't remember her name or something like that.
No, so it's like maybe that's not the right way to go about it. Maybe it's more about like scale, right? So Spirited Away is a story about a girl who has to overcome adversity to get her family back,
Hmm.
right? And Princess Mononoke is much more like a Lord of the Rings style fantasy epic,
Okay.
right? So Spirited Away is more personal, it's more emotional from
Okay.
from a familial kind of, feelings point of view.
Hmm.
I would say that like both movies really stand out with their visuals, but like, Spirited Away has that one sequence with the train, which still stands out to me as one of my favorite cinematic moments ever.
Hmm.
And this really didn't have anything, like Princess Mononoke didn't really have anything to me that was like, I will remember that for forever.
Yeah, like a breathtaking moment or something.
Yeah, there are several incredibly animated moments, and it's again, it's one of the prettiest movies I've ever seen. But it's just lacking that one little extra thing that connects me to the movie.
You ordered a sundae and they forgot to put the cherry on top, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so minor of an issue, but like
Mhm.
I do want to bring it up, like, because it's like both movies are incredible, and don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way saying that Princess Mononoke
Mhm.
is bad or lacking in any way. It's just it's missing that one extra thing, that X factor that gets me to go, I can relate to this movie, and I can see myself in her shoes or his
Yeah,
shoes.
I can see that, but you got to think about it. What Spirited Away came out when? What year?
6 years later, 2003, or sorry, no, 4 years later, 2001.
Oh, see, okay, I thought they were very far apart,
No,
but no, never mind. That was my subject is not good then. So I was gonna say Princess Mononoke was made in like the 90s and Spirited Away was 2000s. I thought so,
I
but
mean, you're right. It's 97 and 2001, but it's only 4 years apart. It's not like it
y-
was in the 80s or something,
yeah,
you know.
that's what I thought, and that's where you could get that little disjoint right there, is because it's a different type of decade and stuff like that. But that's
Yeah,
not far apart at all.
it's much more just a difference in the scale and in the
Mhm.
tone, which, don't get me wrong, it's great in this film, and I want to keep making sure that no one misunderstands me. It's just, I think that the personal touch, like I love movies like Princess Mononoke and Lord of the Rings and things like that, that are just these epic stories of good
Mhm.
versus evil kind of a thing, or the kind of neutrality between, which we'll talk about with this movie. But again, Princess or Spirited Away just has that little bit of a personal thing.
Do you
So
think you like Spirited Away better because it focused on the family more instead of focusing on maybe
the
consider
world,
three families, or like the world pretty much for
that's
Princess
exactly what I'm
Mononoke?
saying. It's the scale.
Hmm.
It's right. It's the family versus like cities. So it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's a little bit
you kind of get
of
a
a
little
different scale.
lost sometimes too. I found myself a little lost, like when some people were
Sure.
talking and he comes back to the village. I'm like, wait, is that the same village and stuff like that? But it kind of explains itself after like 2 minutes. I was like, okay, yeah, that's the same village.
Yeah, and it kind of gets transitioning, right? Like this film makes sure that its locations are visually distinct.
Hmm.
You know when you're in the mining colony. It is industrial, it is gray, it is brown, it is red. And then
Hmm.
you get to the realm of the forest spirits and the forest gods, right? And that is just green and blue and
Hmm.
alive. And it really plays into the actual overall message of the film, which is, hey, find a balance, man.
Hmm.
you know, and a lot of that also comes down to the main character Ashitaka, right? And is kind of the initially I thought he was really just like milquetoast, right? He was very just kind of like you could project yourself onto this character. He's kind of flat. He does get way more interesting as the movie goes on, and it's really interesting to see a hero character who is truly neutral.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's going out to see his eyes unclouded, right? Which is what they say in the beginning of the film. And he's, you know, throughout the film is saving lives on the mining colony side and is also trying to help out Sun and the, you know, the forest realm. And which is, again, highlighting the entire point of the movie.
And they could have done, not bad thing, but they could have really messed up with the forest. They could have made it a dark looking forest and the dark city as well because of the mining company and everything like that. But they could have made the forest darker, but they didn't want to do that because it was full of life and all the little creatures are in there are white. They're not black and not hiding in the shadows and stuff like that, which is really nice. And even the wolves are white and gray and stuff like that. They're very vivid and not toned down colors at all.
It's very clear that they stand out in no matter what environment they're in, which is probably the entire reasoning for their design. But kind of more so getting into the design part, it goes without saying that this is a very beautiful animated film. Miyazaki has not made a single bad looking film. Studio Ghibli, again, has only made one bad looking movie, and that's because it was 3D. Like, you know, 2D animation will never not look good.
No,
there are movies that look bad, but like, you know, the effort I think is what's appreciated now, especially now.
And that's the thing, the effort has to be put into it, and Miyazaki puts his heart and soul into every movie that he has made and has directed and stuff like that, and you can see it in his final work as well. I mean, it's amazing how two movies, Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, are in a lot of people's top 4 movies of all time, sometimes back to back as well, because of how good they are and how well received they are from critics and even casual moviegoers. Even some people that don't like animation, they'll be like, hey, I know about Spirited Away. And it's like he branches out and gives those people just something to watch.
Yeah. And I think even like for those people who are out there who are anime fans like you and I, right? We like the Ghibli is the one you always point to when you say, I know you don't like anime or you've never watched it, but give Ghibli a shot. Give Miyazaki a shot. Give him your time because he will at least earn your respect. And between Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, those are the two that you can very much easily recommend. And I think even between the two of them, now I'd probably say Princess Mononoke is the one that I would recommend more for first-time viewers, because I think that, you know, people are very much accustomed to, you know, Lord of the Rings, like I keep saying, or like these movies that are fantasy historical epics kind of resonate more with people than, say, a movie about a girl going into the realm of spirits and you're seeing creatures and individuals who are designed by children from their imagination, kind of a thing. You know, and that was kind of like my mistake. I ended up showing someone close to me who does not like anime and has never liked anime and refuses to watch it. I showed her Spirited Away, and she was able to like understand the story and like was at least could respect that, but just could not get into the kind of quirkiness and whimsical quality of the film. And I now regret that, and I wish I would have shown her Princess Mononoke instead. I think that it would be easier to understand.
Yeah, and I like how easy it is to understand what is going on. It's basically the earth is unbalanced. He needs to find a way to balance it pretty much. And he has to basically join two groups together just to balance out the earth. But
it's not even that. Well, he's just told, you have to leave our village because you're cursed now, and go see the world as you can before you die. He wasn't told to go out and save the world.
Yeah.
He wasn't told him, like, that was just him as a person doing the right thing.
Yeah, but he doesn't realize what he's doing. He's just trying to be a good person pretty much
There's
throughout
no
this whole movie.
like promise of reward. There's nothing he's not like, maybe if I do this it'll clear the curse. Like a lesser anime that came out nowadays would be like, oh, I'm doing this to get the girl and clear the curse. But no, he's just like, yeah, I'm a good I want, like, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I thought he wanted to go see the spirit, forest spirit, to get his curse lifted, though. Wasn't that what he was going to do?
I mean, it was a possibility, and like I'm sure that he went there to go and clear it. But like what I'm saying is, he didn't like reach out to the villagers. He didn't reach out to San. He didn't do all those things and help, everyone because he knew he would get cured.
Yeah,
and that drops really quickly when he gets shot and then gets taken to the pool and is healed. He's like, oh no, the curse is still here. And then like any other show, movie, book, whatever would have been like, and that's where he gave up.
Yeah.
But no, he just keeps doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's totally. Again, it's brilliant.
It is. It's like, it's like subplots, I feel like, with this one. He's trying to see the world, but still trying to find a curse, to lift his curse. But he's just being a regular guy and just trying to help anyone that he can see, and just to do it that way. And then he sees a girl that he likes and wants to basically, he just wants to talk to her pretty much.
Yeah, he's trying to see everything unclouded by hatred, which is another incredible point of the film, right? And I mean, I'm sure that he's attracted to San, and that it's like there's a connection there, but again, he doesn't do it for that reason.
And I think that was a great thing, that he doesn't go after the girl after he finds, what's her name again? Sorry.
San.
He doesn't chase after her. He wants to do other responsibilities, so he goes back to the city to see if he can help over there, and then comes back to see if she's still there and stuff like that. And even the forest spirit, the elk, I don't know, I think he's just called the forest spirit, right?
The forest god, forest spirit, something like that.
Yeah. He's just awing at the god's beauty on how, and that's how he sees, but other people see an animal. He sees a god, but other people see an animal, and so does San. San sees a god, but the city sees an animal.
Yeah, the city, well, specifically the leader of the city, she sees it as something to be eliminated, to get out of the way so they can get rich off of their natural resource. And then we find out that the monk is working for the emperor, who sees it as a way to get immortal.
Yeah.
Which completely forgot the whole emperor storyline that they touched in the beginning until later in the movie. And you're like, oh yeah, that was brought up in the beginning. So it kind of, that kind of felt a little tacked on. But also, I do need to really talk about the forest spirit, the deer god.
Dude.
The face on that thing is horrifying.
It is.
There's literally a shot, like the first time you see it close up, and it lingers on the face for like 15 seconds. And I swear I saw that face in my dreams last night.
Oh yeah,
like,
you
that
don't
was
standing over your bed or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night and be like, but then I'll be cured of any illness I have, and I'll be like, the face is so scary. It changes, don't get me wrong, but the first time you see it, it is just like, it's almost like a jump scare. The way that I was just like, ugh.
It's funny though, because I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the ugliest thing. But every time I kept seeing it after that, I was like, wait, it's kind of like ugly is good. Like, he doesn't need to be perfect. This is what a god should look like. It doesn't matter if he's ugly, old, poor, anything like that.
For sure. And obviously, playing into the fact that it could be like a culturally inspired design. It could be something that is resonant for people of another culture than us. So like, we're not in no means are we trying to like hate on it or say it's bad looking. It's just that first image you see is really creepy, and I gotta be honest.
Well, and then we got to talk about like the animation of the wolves and stuff like that as well, which are beautiful. If there's 3 wolves or 2 wolves, there's 3.
Well, there are 3. There is the matron, kind of the mother, who is essentially, I believe she's like the wolf god or the wolf spirit, and then obviously her 3 children. There's the 2 wolves and then son.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're absolutely gorgeous. First of all, and again, the mother wolf bringing in San as her own daughter, unselfish, is like there's so many things. The kid is what is it called? The kid is like would you say eyes clouded? What's it called?
Unclouded?
Yeah, like he has an unclouded thing, always wants to help hunt somebody. Well, that's what the wolf spirit did. She saw a human. The other wolf saw a human, but the mother saw a baby that hasn't developed yet into a human that could hunt them.
And specifically, a baby that was left behind. Yeah, kind of highlighting what's wrong with humanity in the scope of the movie, but hopefully trying to convince more of humanity that, hey, wolves are all right, or nature is all right too. And but leaning into that, I do want to talk about the cast of this movie. Did you watch this film, or did you watch this film in the English dub, or did you watch it in Japanese, or did you watch both? What did you do?
I chose dubbed for both of them.
I also watched it dubbed for the first time, and I will be honest, I went back and watched it again in Japanese just so I could see which one I preferred. And as usual with Studio Ghibli, I tend to prefer the English dub. I think Disney did a really good job of getting top talent to fill these vocal roles. I do think that Billy Crudup, who plays Ashitaka in the English dub, is a little bit of a cardboard cutout. But like this, because again, he's a character that Miyazaki wants you to project yourself onto, and not really have any kind of say whatsoever. In like he has personality. Don't get me wrong, but like enough less of it that you could say, hey, I could see myself doing that. Yeah. Claire Danes as San, she's great in the film. I forget exactly. Minnie Driver plays the leader of the Iron Colony. I'm trying to remember her name, Lady Eboshi, and then Gillian Anderson of X-Files playing the matron is great. Keith David, John DiMaggio. Hey, John DiMaggio is great in pretty much everything you put him in. Tara Strong. There's just incredible voice cast all around for this. Disney truly, like when they got the rights to bring these to the States and do English dubs for them, really knocked it out of the park.
I don't think we've had a bad English dub so far from
a Ghibli movie. No, they've all been good.
Yeah, I don't think so. Even like we might talk about it, but My Neighbor Totoro, like those dubs are really good as well. When I watched it the first time,
yeah, and like when you watch that one in English, because it has 2 sisters in the movie, are played by sisters, Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning.
Yeah, and that's a perfect representation of 2 sisters in a movie being 2 sisters in real life. Like you don't just put 2 random people together.
And the girl who played Lilo in Lilo and Stitch played the main character in Spirited Away. They know how to cast. Which that was Lilo from Lilo and Stitch was the main girl in Spirited Away.
Oh, nice.
Also, the actress who played Meg in Hercules plays the employee of the bathhouse that helps her out.
May. It's not May.
I don't remember the name off the top of my head. It's not nearly pulled up here anyway. But anyhow, like I'm saying though, just Disney does such a great job, and that was because at the time, say whatever you will about John Lasseter, the ex-head of Pixar, but he was a huge proponent of Miyazaki and of Studio Ghibli and bringing it to the United States. And because of his power and position at Pixar, was able to get it over here and oversaw the English versions of the film and made sure that they were up to the snuff that they deserved, which arguably is a really good step in getting more of an American audience to view your film. It's never a bad thing.
Yeah. And I think a lot of, if we didn't get these over to America, we probably would never have seen these, or they would be on like a streaming platform or something like that with just a sub, not a dub, and it would be less exposure.
I would say we would still get them, but they wouldn't nearly be as well known as they are now. Because even people who don't watch anime or have never seen anime have seen Totoro. Like, they know what that character is and have heard of Studio Ghibli or of Miyazaki. Like, they know of him because of the work that Disney did in promoting those films and really getting them to us. So like Nadia, she was at work and a dog came in and the dog's name was Totoro, and she goes, "Oh, from that movie." Like, she knows My Neighbor Totoro, and she knows Totoro, but she doesn't know any of the movie, but just the name she recognized immediately. Yeah, it's how synonymous it's become, and it's truly fantastic. So we could sit here and wax poetic about Princess Mononoke and Studio Ghibli all day long, but what's really important, what I know you want to share with everyone, is what you think and what your rating is, Kevin, for Princess Mononoke.
What I think this movie stands for is a pinnacle in animation. If you don't enjoy animation, you need to watch this just to see if you understand animation, and if you want to go into further animation, just to see, like, put your feet in the water a little bit. This is what that movie is. I also think that it's just, it's just a damn good movie. My score is 5 stars out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I liked it, looking for the steelbook of it, and it's 100 out of 100 for me.
Dang. Kevin giving it, I think it's the third movie in a row you've given 100 to?
12 Angry Men, this one.
And Modern Times you didn't give 100 out of 100 to.
No, I didn't. I gave like a 97. Never
mind. That's 2 in a row then. As for me, I think that, again, the movie is incredible. It is definitely towards the top of what Miyazaki has done and what has come to the United States in terms of Japanese animation. It is very much near the top. As far as the score, I did give it 4.5 out of 5 stars because it has a 99 out of 100 for me. Like I said earlier, I think it's just missing that little bit extra, that cherry on top of the personal, emotional connection for me to really latch onto this movie, like more so than I already do. And also, that Forest Spirit really creeped me out. But it doesn't lose points for that. So I'll just joke about that. But 99, and Kevin gave it 100. So some pretty respectable scores there. And actually is now the movie that I recommend over any other animated films or anime films, probably except for Perfect Blue, to people who have never seen anime before. So the question now falls to you. What do you think of Princess Mononoke? We'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below, but remember to be respectful of one another. Next week, we'll be covering the sci-fi drama Children of Men. So make sure to watch the film before next week so you're not spoiled on it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us here on YouTube and everywhere at Real Watchers. And until next time, keep your eyes on the screen.